pathway. I just wondered if you could talk us through potentially the work that's been done in additional connections across the Waitemata.
Absolutely, and it's quite important to put the Northern Pathway project in the broader context. I know that that's obviously very important to people across Auckland. Let's start off with the existing harbour crossing, and just to put on record, this is really, really important. It remains a resilient crossing for Auckland. And the advice from Waka Kotahi is that with appropriate maintenance and investment, that asset has a very, very long lifespan. It's not something that we need to worry about collapsing or failing in the short term. From time to time, we might face particular freak incidents like the one we faced last year with the truck strike, but the ongoing investment in its maintenance means that it has a long lifespan. It might be challenging in the future, and there might be challenges in terms of heavy vehicle access, but broadly speaking, it's a resilient asset. But we do need to plan for the future. And so within ATAP, which was agreed earlier this year, we've confirmed the intention to move forward with an additional Waitemata harbour crossing in the second decade of ATAP, being the 2030s. That is brought forward from, I think, the ATAP two versions of ATAP ago, signed up to by the previous government, which had that as a 2040s project. We're now moving forward with indicative business case work, and there's about $40 million of funding within ATAP to support that business case work and initial property acquisitions as well. The initial business case, which was released late last year, it has ongoing work, says that in the short term we need to move forward with interim improvements to the North Shore Busway. This is going to be really important in terms of the growth we're experiencing on the North Shore and giving people access across the harbour. More than 50% of people who now cross the harbour at peak do so through the busway. And so improving people's access, improving the capacity of the busway is going to be a really important way of maximising the utility of the harbour in terms of moving people as much as possible. But we do know in the long term we're going to need an additional crossing. The indicative business case sets a direction which is for a public transport centred crossing as the next stage, and that is something that I strongly support. And going back to the earlier dialogue, the only way that we're going to unchoke Auckland and our significant urban areas is through sustained and significant investment in high quality mass transit in these cities. It's just the maths and the physics about how we move large numbers of people around efficiently. It's what every other effective, well-functioning transport system in big growing cities around the world does. And for 50 years, we haven't done enough of it in Auckland. So that's a key thing to note. The indicative business case, while it hasn't been determinative in this sense, indicates that a tunnel option is probably the best option for delivering that into the future. And it cites a couple of options where that tunnel might land on the North Shore as well. So that work is continuing between Waka Kotahi, Auckland Transport and key stakeholders at the moment. But it's just important for people to note that the decisions around the Northern Pathway are part of that broader context. We currently have a road crossing. We want to see walking and cycling crossing across the harbour, and we also want to see a public transport connection across the harbour. At the moment, we only have the road crossing for private vehicles. We need to make sure that people on the shore and on the isthmus have got choices across those other modes as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Luxon.